It's been hundreds of cycles since I've seen another Decepticon. The last time, my former compatriots raced past me through the tunnels. I watched from the shadows, satisfied to see they were still alive, but never reaching out. In all that time, it had never been a seeker overhead.
Megatron, old friend. I was worried I had the wrong coordinates. You know how the Rust Seas mess with our navigational systems.
That was the point. I told you to stay away from here, Starscream. I hate to see any of my soldiers like this. Especially, the foolhardy ones.
Well, you know what they say about me. As much as you shove me away, well, I am forever your loyal lieutenant.
You fool. The gases of the Rust Seas are already threatening to eat away at him. I can't leave him on the surface. Being in Starscream's presence, it's as if the universe's most inconvenient virus compels me to fix the poor bot. I choose not to think of how I've sent my coordinates out to the Seekers, in case they needed me. They can't possibly still need me.
I imagine this is what a dynamite chew toy must feel like.
It's certainly what I imagine one would look like. Stay down, Starscream. What happened to you?
Body scrappers. Blur is the one responsible for most of this.
I do not feel panic. Why were you fighting body scrappers?
I wasn't looking for them, I assure you. I don't know how, but they got wind of my recent activities. Now there's a sizable bounty on my head. I must have been overheard, or maybe they've been tracking me since I went out in the desert. The other option is much less pleasant. That jet. Well, if it's the second, there's nothing that can be done about it. Now, is there? So, this is where the great Decepticon leader Megatron has been living.
Starscream understands subtly, can even utilize it when pressed. I'm not falling for this awkward topic change. I like the quiet.
So much so you burrowed under the ground like a driller.
What do you want, Starscream? The lack of a pressing war is no excuse for long-windedness.
You know, this reminds me of the first time I ever saw you. Do you remember?
The day you showed up demanding to join the cause. As usual, you tried your hardest to make yourself memorable.
It still stings when I remember how many times you turned me away.
I wasn't keen on putting a scholar on the battlefield. I didn't want to carry that burden.
So you said, bold at once. But no, that was the first time I spoke to you. It was during the early protest in front of the Senate.
You will step away from us slowly. Officer Prowl.
I was at the Senate arguing for public funding for my work with Jetfire, and you were outside. I was told that you were making noise, but that wasn't it.
I do not relish repeating myself.
There are regulations about these protests, and your buddy Rat-Bat was too close to the building, as are you.
Is that your excuse for placing your hands on him? A reason to attack those that you see beneath you in society because you are so rarely challenged in your reckless abuse of your authority.
Hey.
If my dear friend Rat-Bat wasn't on this side of the protest line, was instead part of the weak excuse for a counter-protest from earlier, would you have laid hands on him? So many of the bots in this city have grown comfortable with this pathetic hierarchy you've set up, where those of us that labor so that you don't have to are worthy of nothing but your cruelty. It is amusing to see you sputter when confronted with someone who is done with your bullying.
You're out of line, Megatron.
If you remember my name, I'm not sure why you thought I'd allow you to raise a hand in my presence.
You may get away with things because of your friendship with the senators and Orion protects you, but you and your mining trash are still subject to our laws and...
Say that again, Prowl. Say the word trash and you will see what this trash is capable of. And I hope you do run off to tell my friends what happened here. Tell everyone.
I admit to being a bit naive before then, not truly seeing where our government was headed, but seeing you stand up in that moment, declaring yourself not as above them, as their equal. I never seen that before, not deny it.
Are you done with your revisionist history?
Excuse me?
It feels odd to poke holes in this memory that my former second-in-command clearly adores, but he needs to hear it. What you saw is a great moment. I remember it was the first time I was arrested. The rest of the miners got off easy, but I was trotted out in chains by officers. One of the first examples they had of what happened when you do not stay in line. It is not a moment worthy of romanticizing.
As I recall, the judge of it played a large part in Ratbat's eventual election to the Senate.
For all the good that did us. So why don't you tell me why you're really here?
Is it not enough that I ran to where I knew I'd be safe while I healed up?
No.
I came back to ask you for your help, Megatron. I need you because, as you can see, I've got a Titan-sized target on my back. I could attempt to recruit others without your help, but...
You'd be better off that way. If things are as bad as you say, you need a leader. And I am no leader. What do you mean I'm free to go?
You heard me. Someone higher up decided this isn't worth our time. Again.
Surely he wouldn't have interfered.
Megatron. Good to see Jail didn't treat you too poorly. Even if you would have deserved it.
Good night, Orion.
Thank you, Orion, for getting me out from jail and erasing yet another disorderly conduct charge. I know how poorly our friendship reflects on your ambitions and plans while you try to bring order to this planet, so it's greatly appreciated. Feel free to add a few of your non-committal grunts that you do whenever I'm right, if it makes you feel better.
I owe you nothing, Orion.
After all the times I vouched for you, I think you do. These silly protests need to stop, Megatron. I'm tired of you dressing up chaos and calling it rights and empathy. None of that mattered until you riled up every bot with this Decepticon nonsense. Now I spend half of my time cleaning up your messes.
My messes? I'm fighting against what you and your secret police did to Shockwave. You reinstituted Empirata to break a bot that was supposed to be your friend, so he would stop fighting your men in the Senate. You thought you could take away his compassion with a torture from a bygone era. And when he tried to fight against your men, you replaced his hands and head with ones he wouldn't recognize. The surgery went wrong. You made that same empathy consume him, overwhelm him.
Megatron, listen to yourself. My secret police? My men in the Senate? You're spouting conspiracies because you're letting your emotions overwhelm you. If I have the power you say I do, I'd watch your voice box. Unless you wanted to join Senator Shockwave.
How dare you!
That's enough! Both of you!
Stop right this instant.
Don't touch me, officer. I don't know how many times we have to go over this.
What would you like us to do, Pax? We can charge him.
No. I am off duty. This was personal. You could have joined me, Megatron. Been on my side. If it weren't for your...
That's where you are wrong, Orion. You may have offered me a place at your side, but I could never be on your side. That was the last time we spoke before the war. To this day, I wonder about the times he pulled strings. Was I complicit in letting him do so? Did I do it because my bots needed me outside with them? Or was I masking my own selfish desires? Perhaps I spent my time in the Rust Seas making up for the time I should have spent in other cages.
You know, if I were the dramatic type, I would say it looks as if you're hoping to rust away, standing like this.
But you'd never say something like that.
No, I would never.
I can't be what you are looking for, Starscream. It must be unforeseen damage to my voice box that makes me hesitate. I'm not the leader of the Decepticons anymore. I respect what you think you understand about my influence, but that is not my reality. You would be better off, recruit.
Absolutely not, Megatron! I did not come all of this way to leave empty-handed. I need you.
I am not your commander anymore. I once had that title, but I was never worthy of it. You may have forgotten what my leadership cost us. Allow me to remind you. I know, normally I would offer up words that Lieutenant Starscream wrote for me. He is better at language than I. But today, I speak to you from the deepest corners of my spark. Some of you came to Earth with me when I crashed, helped me heal my wounds. Some of you came later, after we discovered rarefied energon, and knew we had to protect this planet and its resources from Optimus Prime and his so-called Autobots. We have made mistakes, and perhaps Earth will never go back to what it once was. But change, evolution, is not the end. Not for the humans and not for us. So today, we keep up the fight so that we all might see what the future holds.
Do you really believe all that? That the future and is being worth it?
I don't have patience for lies, Thundercracker. One would think you'd know that.
This has to be worth it.
And I promise you, even while things look dark, it will be. We will triumph. I fought like a fool on that battlefield. A fool who threw himself at a monster.
I had hoped it would come to this. Old friend!
We are past friendships.
We are past nothing, Megatron! Until I say we are!
No! Earth crumbled beneath my frame, collapsing under the weight of our war. I decided then I would be a martyr. I have never followed your orders, Prime. I see no reason to start now. For Earth, for Cybertron,
Fine, then!
for our cause.
How dare!
Martyrdom is laughable, and I know that now.
Give up, Decepticon!
Because once your wish has been granted, there is nothing left. I laid there for what might have been cycles, decacycles, or kilocycles, until I could hear the footsteps of neither Decepticon nor Autobot. With no repairs and leaking energon, I waited for my spark to go out. Megatron leader of the Decepticons, had died under the boot of our greatest tyrant, and I once called him a friend. When my spark proved too stubborn to give out, I scoured the land for a ship that may have been left behind. I patched myself up and worked to repair the ship. As I'd soon discover, I should have stayed on Earth. By the time I returned, most of us had scattered or died. Optimus and Goldbug and Prowl had resorted to infighting. The Autobot Warlords 3.
I never took you for a coward, Megatron. But apparently I should have returned decacycles ago, if this is the nonsense you come up with in the meantime.
Nonsense?
I know you do more than replay what I've said, but if more words are too difficult at the moment, would you like me to tell you what you've forgotten? Because I remember it differently. We dove into battle led by a fearless, dashing leader.
Starscream.
Don't worry, he had equally dashing soldiers on his back.
Starscream.
Always wanted a bigger trophy.
But that wasn't what we spoke about after the battle on Earth. We spoke of how you saved Thundercracker with a point-blank shot that led to Bumblebee needing a new body. We drank to the vision of you taking down wave upon wave of Autobots. And how Tyrant fell at your feet!
Starscream.
Perhaps you saw yourself as a martyr. But to us, you're a hero. Optimus Prime! Optimus is on the horizon!
Oh, good. I want to spark stuff down today.
You're never not a pessimist, are you?
So we run now, right?
You run. I will stay behind.
Absolutely not, Commander. He will kill you.
We were always going to kill one another. It was just a question of whether it was here or on Cybertron.
No, we're not leaving you here. We'll fight with you. It doesn't make any sense.
Enough! If you stay with me and fight, we will all die. If I go with you, he will hunt us all down and we will all die. I will stay behind and buy you time. You will round up as many Decepticons as possible and make it off this planet. I don't care if you go to Cybertron or another planet, but it will give you time to have a head start. Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, I need you to do this. Not for me, but for what we stand for. Is that clear?
Thundercracker out.
I'll get the ship ready.
Commander, There was nothing for me to say. I followed your orders. And following your orders led to us escaping. I didn't see you fall, and I didn't know how long you spent on Earth. But what I do know... You say you're not a leader because we lost. But that loss wasn't on your shoulders. Neither was the bot count when it was all over. But those that survived Earth that day, we lived on because of you. Because you were willing to lose to keep us alive. I have no right to ask any more of you, Megatron, and I know that. But we are scattered, living as if Cybertron is nothing but an abandoned junkyard for Decepticons. We cannot exist without a leader, and I know of no one else the Decepticons will rally behind like the bot that saved our lives!
Starscream has always had a way with words. I want to believe him more than I've believed in anything other than the Decepticons in my entire life. Even if I accept what you are saying, Starscream, there is no cause for you to rally behind.
That was true. Last time you knew anything about what was happening, but you've been underground a long time. And things are different now. I may have changed things.
Excuse me? Starscream, your theatrics and need for stage aren't any more charming now then.
Sit down, Megatron.
I'm not some newly awakened spark, Starscream. I do not need to brace myself.
Funny you put it that way. Remember when we talked before, theoretically, about using my spark as the ultimate indestructible safe? What if I told you that was no longer theoretical, Megatron? What if I told you that we can use what I have inside of it to awake the Titans? We can take back Cybertron!